Hello, bonjour Alberta. Did you know that at least 238,000 people speak Français in Alberta? And those numbers just keep on growing? Oui, oui, c'est vrai, it's true. And thanks to Shaw TV Community Access Programming, we get to reach out to everyone to let you know all about special people, places, events, and activities happening right here in this great province, in both English and en français. That's right, mes amis. We begin the first part of our program in English, and then we repeat it en français. So stay with us. Restez à l'écoute.
Bienvenue, bonjour. Hello, bonjour, Alberta. My name is Luigi Soundproof Labarrière, your host for this evening. And today we have two special guests here that's going to talk to us about Scotland and Charton Hobbs, a pan-Canadian corporation and family enterprise with offices in nine provinces here in Canada. Well, first we welcome Mr. Ruaraidh MacIntyre, representative for Charton Hobbs here from Montreal. Hello.
Hello.
And also with him, the Jordan Cameron, our charming guest who lives right here in Calgary.
Correct.
Good evening.
Thanks.
Now, Charton Hobbs, can you present that to people? People kind of have an idea what it is with this big bottle here.
Charton Hobbs is a company that's responsible for the promotion and distribution of certain brands of alcoholic beverage here in Canada. Yes. One of the brands that we're here representing is Ardbeg, Scotch from Scotland.
Okay, and this is a Scotch from Scotland?
This is a Scotch, yes.
Oh, wow.
You can't be called a Scotch unless you're from Scotland.
So a whiskey made entirely of barley, and this is a very smoky Scotch.
Okay, okay. And what other product do you guys represent here in
Some of our other brands, so Charton Hobbs has quite a wide, diverse portfolio, and actually Ruaraidh and I both work for Moët Hennessy, which is, well, they're part of the Louis Vuitton Moët Hennessy conglomerate, and so the import agent for them in Canada is Charton Hobbs. So under the Moët Hennessy umbrella, you have Ardbeg Scotch, we also have Glenmorangie single malt Scotch, and Ruaraidh's actually the national brand manager for Glenmorangie and Ardbeg, and then we also have Belvedere Vodka, Dom Perignon Champagne, Veuve Clicquot, Moët, several different brands.
Class ones.
Yeah.
Wow. And in which province do you distribute or present all those different products?
All across Canada.
Oh, okay. All the different provinces?
We just don't have offices in every province, but we do distribute across the across the country.
And you guys you are from Montreal, exactly?
I am from Scotland,
living in Montreal.
Living in Montreal.
Okay, and you do speak French, I could imagine.
I speak a little French.
Wonderful.
I try my best.
Yeah, so you're traveling all around the country, bilingual situation, and just here and there, and in Calgary right now for a special event, exactly? Mm-hmm. And what is that event was all about?
We're hosting a space, I suppose, event or space party, you could say, in Lake Louise on the 19th of September.
Okay.
Now, we sent a vial of Scotch into space 2 years ago.
Okay.
1 week ago, it came back down, and it was up there for an experiment. We were looking at the effects of gravity on the maturation of Scotch. So this event is a celebration of the successful return of the experiment.
Of the space-aged whiskey.
Okay, that must be a total experience. Does it have an effect on it?
Hopefully. It'll be analysed for the next 6 months or so, but we hope that it will have an appreciable effect.
Okay, and so you offer it to different people here and around Alberta, exactly?
Not quite.
Not quite. It's selective.
The amount we sent up was maybe only enough to fill a soda bottle, a very, very small amount. So it was just enough to have a scientific study done afterwards. We'll maybe have a very small amount left at the end, but most will be used for scientific purposes. You couldn't actually sell it as Scotch. Because it's been in space maturing, it's not allowed to be called Scotch. You could call it whiskey, but not Scotch.
But there have been jokes that it could be the most expensive whiskey on Earth by the time
not even on Earth.
Not even on Earth, exactly.
In space, in the universe.
Yes. In the universe.
That we know of.
Or the galaxy. I don't know if there's Scotch on Pluton or whatever. So you come here often in Calgary?
Yes, I'd say I come to Calgary maybe every 2-3 months or so. There's a large market here in Alberta. There's a strong, I think, a community of people with links to Scotland, and a lot of people enjoy single malt nowadays. Certainly, it's not too expensive here in the province, and there's a huge range for people to buy.
Since we are a bilingual TV show, do you have the chance to meet French clientele, English clientele? There's a difference. Where do you find them?
I would find the French, and certainly in Quebec, don't buy as much as maybe some of the other provinces.
Okay.
But those of the whiskey fans that are there are very, very passionate.
Okay.
I know quite a few, and they do love their Scotch. When you get more towards Acadia, the kind of New Brunswick region, you do have people who are bilingual, and there's some very big fans there. Really enjoy their Scotch.
No, okay. And the accent down there in Acadie, right? It's kind of similar to Scottish, I could say sometimes.
That's interesting.
It's an interesting accent. I speak French. I speak a little French. I speak some English.
Yeah.
But the Chiac, as they call it, I find very, very hard to follow, as they change very quickly from French to English. Just as I start to understand the French that someone is speaking, they'll change to English, and then my brain has to try and catch up again.
Yes. But it must be a good practice. I mean, for you also, you speak French and English also, right? In Calgary.
Yeah.
Right? You grew up speaking both languages?
No, I actually grew up speaking only English. And when I was going to go into grade 7, my parents informed me that I was going to go to immersion school, which I was pretty scared about. But once I learned, it was quite a big adjustment, because I went from having everything in English to having every subject except for English in French. But I know that has been the experience, especially of a lot of Francophone Canadians that were kind of put into English school. So it was a really interesting experience, and I'm very happy to have had it now.
As a representative of a company like this, like I was slightly talking to your colleague here, being bilingual helps to market it better, because you could write all your text in French or in English, but speaking to the client, does it help to be bilingual?
I would certainly say so. When you're working across the whole country, sometimes I have to work in Quebec City, and people are predominantly Francophone. Some people don't actually speak English. So I have to be able to speak in French. And it's easy to speak in French. I know my product very well in French, but it's when people start to ask you questions, and if people's accents are different, or sometimes if the words in French sound similar to another word in French, my brain gets a little bit confused. And I'm saying, are they talking about playing? Are they talking about someone's cheek? So it's an interesting experience, but no, it's very useful.
Yeah.
It's very useful.
And I think you were going to say?
Yeah, I think also for you working across Canada, and then for me having different suppliers in the market. So I was working with the brand manager for Dom Perignon last week, and he was in from France, and it just helps to be able to have those language skills, especially with the portfolio. You're exactly right, and just the fact that Moët Hennessy is a French company, so it is very helpful, because a lot of the corporate structure is French speaking.
It's French speaking, and I could even ease more optional. Well, kind of like me, we have the same history of language, because you speak also Gaelic.
Yes.
Gaelic. That's one of the top 10 languages spoken out of the 6,000 on this planet. Did you know about that?
Yes, I mean it's got a strong history in Scotland. There's maybe, I think, 70,000 speakers in Scotland. There's a few in Canada and in Nova Scotia. I know there's a community there that are quite keen on speaking Gaelic. But I myself, I've not spoken Gaelic properly in maybe 10 years. It's in my home on Isla. It's very strong, I mean, my younger brother and sister, they both go to primary school, and they're taught in Gaelic.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But outside of Scotland, there's not as much.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Well, you know what? I might take a chance and, learn a couple of words if I can understand. If that's the magic potion to speak Gaelic.
Oh, pretty
Yes.
much.
What is
will
this
help.
glass here? What is this glass here?
So we have here the
I have to
Ardbeg.
smell or I
Yeah,
have to...
smell,
Yep.
definitely. This is the Ardbeg 10-year-old. So you should
Okay.
find it on the nose. It's very smoky.
Yes, yes, it is.
You'll have a smell almost kind of similar to a charcuterie plate. You'll have yeah, I mean, there's a distinct smell almost of kind of like a hard cheese coming through there, something kind of salty, briny.
And why the cover? Why the lid?
Well, the cover helps to. Not everyone appreciates a very full-bodied, strong Scotch. I mean, Ardbeg is the most heavily peated of all Scotches. It has the most smoky flavour, and if you leave the lid off, and a room will entirely smell like this. It will smell as if someone's had a fire in the middle of the floor.
Oh,
And when we do our Scotch dinners sometimes as well, we'll use different Scotches, and some of them won't be heavily peated or heavily smoked. So, and it's always good to keep the lid on if you're doing a dinner and to ward off evaporation as well.
is it more a man or a woman drink?
Oh,
I would say it's mixed. It's very mixed. People would think it of being a man's drink. The perception in the media is that it's only men that drink Scotch. But when you go to Scotch events, you'll find that at least 30% are women. And I think that if it wasn't perceived as being such a male-associated drink, there would certainly be more. I mean, we actually did an event here in Calgary in
the
June.
Femme Fatale YYC. They're a women.
Femme Fatale YYC.
Yeah, they're a women's spirits club. So we did a whiskey event with them in June. It was right.
They very much enjoyed the Ardbeg.
Yep.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Where can we find some info? When is the next event, or when is the next presentation, or what is the next product coming up from that's going to be promoted here?
We have a very limited release of a special product called Supernova, which will be released in another month or so here in Alberta. But it's specifically for members of a kind of fan club of Ardbeg. It's called the Ardbeg Committee. So we've partnered up with a few different liquor stores here in Alberta. They're like our embassies, and they get special bottlings that's only exclusive for them. And then these bottlings are for our fans. It's a way of rewarding them for being loyal to Ardbeg.
You grew up around this environment,
yes,
right?
I worked at the distillery for 4 years. My father has worked there for 25 years in Scotland on Islay. And all the way back to my great-grandfather have worked at the distillery.
Oh, wonderful. You had the chance to go to Scotland, Jordan?
I did actually.
Oh, wonderful.
In May, I got to visit Ardbeg, and I also toured Glenmorangie. So we flew into Islay, and unfortunately, Ruaraidh's father was off that day because I was really looking forward to trying to meet him and get to know him. But yeah,
And speak Gaelic.
Yes, so
French.
no Gaelic for me, but French would be great. That would be an interesting conversation.
Voila, voila. So that's wonderful. So where can we find out all the product of your company? On what website? Do you have a website, an information link, something?
www.ardbeg.com. You can find out anything you want about there, and find out about future events that we do as well. We like to try and get in touch with our fans and hold events primarily for them. We hold a few a year, and we'll send out invites that way.
And you can sign up also on the website to the Ardbeg Committee. It's what's called the Ardbeg Committee, and it's just basically like a fan base for the Ardbeg Scotch. And then those committee members, again, do get special bottlings, and they get invites to, we do Ardbeg Day in May. So different festivals and celebrations for Ardbeg lovers.
Oh, well, I'll go check it out myself, and if I have a little thing like that, I might speak Gaelic next time we meet. Well, here it is. Thank you for coming to our show. Hello, bonjour, Alberta.
Yep.
And don't hesitate to come and see us. And we'll be right back en français.